Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend NTT IR Day today. I am Fujiki from NTT IR, and I will serve as the moderator till the end of the meeting. Today, we will have presentation on 3 themes: technological strategy, global strategy, and governance. And then move on to the Q&A session by President Sawada at the end. If you have questions or NTT Docomo subsidiary questions that we announced on September 29 will be entertained at the end. We plan to end at 5:30 p.m. Today, we have the live streaming by the internet, and this will be distributed on demand at a later date. I hope you could understand. Without further ado, the first theme, technological strategy, will be explained by Senior Executive Vice President Shibutani. He will talk about NTT's growth strategy from the viewpoint of the CTO. Mr. Shibutani, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the kind introduction. My name is Shibutani, the Senior Executive Vice President of NTT. I was appointed in the current position back in June this year. Allow me to briefly introduce myself. I was involved in network reliability building, design for network reliability building back in Fukushima at 3.11. I was involved in the reconstruction and the rebuilding of the network after the earthquake and tsunami. Since then, I was involved in business development, and also as the president of Eastport, I was involved in exploration of new strategic business. Now, from June this year, I was appointed as the CTO/CIO and the CTO responsible for digital transformation. So I'm responsible for technology matters overall at NTT Holding Company. I look forward to your kind support and understanding. Now, on the 29th of this month, we announced the 4 trillion yen worth of tender offer for NTT Docomo. I'm sure you're highly interested in this particular topic. Back then, we had the largest market cap at NTT in the past. And also in the heyday of the IMO technology, Docomo's market cap was around 43 trillion yen. But then subsequently, the likes of GAFA and also BAT of China, these players have grown, and there is now a major gap. Can NTT once again emerge as an innovative company? That, I'm sure, is the topic that you're most interested in. With regard to the short-term growth plan, Docomo and other group operating companies will come up with rate plans and also will come up with new services. And that is how we'll be responding to the requirements of the market. But in terms of the medium term and beyond, the strategy for medium term and beyond, it's important that R&D capacity of NTT Group and the technology capacity of NTT Group as a whole, how can we bring this together so that we can drive innovation and contribute to the society? This is very important, and this is another matter of great interest to the public. So that being the case, today, I would like to talk about NTT's growth strategy from the perspective of CTO. That is why I decided to choose this topic. I would very much appreciate your kind attention until the very end. So let me start with the substance of my presentation. On the 29th, when we announced the tender offer, President and CEO Mr. Sawada mentioned that inclusive of this tender offer, this is the direction based on which we're going to seek growth. And he identified 4 directions of growth. And the 2 boxes that are not covered in black, that's the smart life and digital transformation. In the case of digital transformation, 800 billion yen cost reduction until 2023, and also with regard to smart life and B2B2X model business, by 2023, again, we are aiming for 600 billion yen. These are the targets we have set for these 2 boxes, and we've made concrete progress to date. But with the consolidation of the group this time around, we'll be able to further expand the size, and we'll be able to accelerate this growth. Now, in terms of the medium-term growth, the boxes that are covered in red, number 1 and 3. Development and provision of new services based on a remote world will be very critical. How can we provide that to the society at large? And the other box is number 3. We want to make sure that we're able to promote global scale R&D and drive innovation. So for these two topics, I would like to primarily focus on during the presentation today. So in order to deliver these targets, and by the way, on the 29th, Mr. Sawada used these materials at the press conference. And we are going to pursue 4 pillars. And we are going to contribute to the society at large. In particular, I want to highlight the most relevant topics. The yellow one on the top, strengthening global industrial competitiveness. We want to develop new services because the world becomes more virtual in nature. And it's important that we have the ability to deliver various services on our own volition. So that we want to bring about that change. And the second, right now 5G is being introduced. And we want to expand the area coverage so that we'll be able to see the dawn of the new IoT era. We really are in the new development stage. We're in the new era. Mr. Sawada talked about 6G, inclusive of space and outer space and underwater. It's important that the scope covered by wireless further expand going forward. So inclusive of the deal of Docomo that we announced, it's important that we further accelerate the expansion of wireless. And the third topic, this is in the blue part. We want to promote B2B2X. We want to support the society and enrich the society. So digitalization and smartification, and also revitalizing local communities and economies. These are things that we need to promote. So these would be the 3 targets which I'll be covering today. And one further point that I wish to address. There's a common platform, the common theme that runs across these 3 aforementioned targets, which is to increasing resilience and increasing cybersecurity. So increasing resilience information ICT system against disasters and strengthening cybersecurity is the key. As there's decoupling involving U.S. and China, it's important that we offer trusted services. There is how do we deliver that in Japan? Because there's an increase in this topic on a global scale. So at the basis, this is a common basis. So inclusive of R&D, it's important that we address this very common theme that runs across various targets. So let me talk about the 2 targets. How do we intend to pursue the growth? I want to focus on these 2 growth strategies and focus on how we intend to deliver them. First is to develop and provide new services based on so-called remote world. Let me try to explain the backdrop of what I mean. There's reference to local area network. This is the access network, and the core is the upper layer network. So RAN is the bottom layer. As you see, specific vendors provide vertical model covering all the way from application, hardware to software. And they're not providing that to carriers and end users. This is a very efficient model, by the way, and it is very integrated, so therefore it is efficient. However, having said that, if you want to be innovative with regard to software, you were reliant on vendors. So therefore, this did not drive very healthy innovation. What we want to pursue is a model on the right-hand side, which is the open model. This is what we would like to pursue. There are 2 approaches. First is the so-called multi-vendor approach, where various equipments could be selected, where you have a variety of available options. This is the CU-DU world. The other is where the upper layer equipments would be translated into software, which means that we ourselves and our customers will be able to expeditiously create their functions in a desired manner, in an open environment. This is what we would like to achieve as soon as possible. If this could be delivered, then on the right-hand side, this actually is the fixed line network, the telephone network offered by NTT and also NTT Flex, which is the broadband fiber network. So NTT Comware and other operating companies are trying to create a virtual situation. If that is the case, if this is delivered, then full-fledged fixed mobile convergence could be realized through software. Then, to be more specific, so let me try to summarize. So So we want to make sure that we have a general purpose open system, so that we're able to create a situation where we'll be able to further advance the given environment. So let me share with you some of the specific examples. And on June 25th, we announced that we'll be investing in NEC, and that initiative involves the following. We are having a very heated discussion right now, and in 3 major phases, we're trying to consider the development going forward. In order to pursue a multi-vendor situation, it's important that RUN equipment be connected through open network, open connection, and expand globally. And the control units on the top, VU and CU, these control units, they should be driven by virtual software and develop this based on a new system, and then on top of that, what we would have is our strength, which is operation, and also flexibility and advance and reliability. These functions and these features would be offered on top. And what we want to do is to deliver this to other vendors and to other carriers as well. So on the right-hand side, you find reference to software and NEC with software technology, production technology, and also the ability to use them at Docomo, and also NTT that has LSI. And both coming together, we can offer installation support and maintenance and operational services. We believe that we'll be able to expand our business in this fashion. Then that being the case, when this model is achieved, what type of universe are we going to welcome? This is the integration of mobile and fixed line technologies for core networks. The left-hand side shows the mobile network and fixed line network. These are 2 independent networks right now, but with softwareization, then based on virtual platform, we'll be able to integrate them. So what are some of the challenges in the connected world? For example, in the case of Zoom, the telecommunication with your friends, and also when you have connection for mission-critical functions, and also when you want to connection with for government agencies. If you use SNS and other meeting systems, the authentication and reliability issues are really going to be critical. So by using the softwareization and platform, the authentication, security, authentication building, security, XR, device management, and contents, we believe that we're able to offer them because we have the advantage and know-how in these functions. And on top of that, then, we'll be able to offer trusted service. That is the platform which we want to deliver. And at the same time, it's important that on our own, we also have the ability to deliver new services. And also it's important that with other partners, we provide trusted remote services through collaboration with those partners. So we believe that that is the services that we are offering in the context of remote world strategy, which is the first topic. And the third pillar, which is the worldwide promotion of R&D. Let me explain about this particular topic. About 2 years ago, our president, Mr. Sawada, when he was appointed as the president, he talked about the road to ION. The major pillars are as follows, but the primary pillars are all photonics network, number 2, and also digital twin computing, which is number 3, and the cognitive foundation. These are the major elements. Now, this time around, with Docomo becoming a wholly owned subsidiary, then the wireless component, this was not connected up until now, but this will not be connected with very, very strong connection. So therefore, wireless, all photonics network, digital twin computing, all these functions will come together. Then that being the case, how can we leverage our strength in these different facets? I would like to talk about this one by one. So let me talk about our strength in wireless. Right now, the 5G universe is expanded. But these are simply area coverage for smartphones on a land basis. 370,000 square kilometers in area. In Japan, we have the exclusive economic zone. We have 2.45 million square kilometers. If you include the waters, such as the exclusive economic zone. So we need IoT world that can cover not only land but also massive water space. And in order to achieve this, it means that we need to further advance the current 5G technology or also pursue development in outer space and sky. It's important that we expand the coverage rather to outer space and sky. In the case of space, we have the pace of communication with satellite. needs to be further expanded by tenfold. And NTT has already verified that. And also we have partnered with JAXA. And right now, we have various satellites in 10,000 kilometers from space and creating constellation. And we have initiatives whereby we'll be able to offer communication through in this constellation fashion. And 294 megahertz, which is the platinum bandwidth. We've used this platinum bandwidth, and with very inexpensive terminals, we'll be able to have communication with space. We're trying to promote that technology. So therefore, space level coverage, we hope that we'll be able to further promote going forward. And also in terms of undersea, be it a culture and also wind farm, it's important that we be able to monitor what is going on undersea as well as above the sea.
届かない。
And so if you cannot reach the deep area, there's still many unknowns, but we have 300-meter class or mega class, the high-speed sea exploration technology. And therefore, we will combine these technology to have the true IoT wireless network that connects the land, ocean, and lead the world. Now, Docomo, the other day, announced 6G, beyond 5G. And so extremely high data rate capacity, extremely wide coverage, extremely low energy and cost, and low latency, high safety reliability, and this extremely massive connectivity. It will be covered from the outer space, and therefore multiple devices need to be connected at the same time to make this work. So the speed and the simultaneous connectivity will be 10 times more than 5G. And furthermore, we have to support the smart society, so the reliability has to be 2 orders of magnitude higher. So TOB, backed by TOB, the wireless Docomo and Research Institute can lead this technology, so we can once again take on the challenge to lead the world. We have the core technology to do that. Second point is All Photonics Network, APN. It is a bit complex, so let me explain. Currently, in this diagram, the IP network at the bottom and PSTN are the mainstream. IP network. Why this was so innovative was the DoD, Department of Defense, even if one communication network is damaged, it can still function. So put in IP packet network, send to the recipient, and look at the POP and deliver to counter the attack. All the communication data was integrated under this network. And in the sender, TOS bit, this is priority, this is highest priority, can be flagged. So voice, which was the biggest profit maker, was put into the IP and send it real time because it's high priority. So right now, IP network integration is now underway. And so this was very innovative. But going forward, many traffic will become on play. So IP weakness is emerging. First of all, to do packaging, there is a delay. And you have to look at the routing. So there's routing delay, latency. So this has to be resolved. Otherwise, this red to blue, the smart mobility, smart city, healthcare, as the integrated network, it is still not enough. So end-to-end optical network has to be established. Then, in mobility, multiple video need to be reflected to the transportation at low latency. And in healthcare, many people's health information, even with smart delay, has to be archived. So this is a completely different requirement. And we, in our network, have to provide that to provide digitalization and smartification. So that's the kind of communication that we have to realize. So with this optical network, what is our strength? LSI. In the optical communication, we have led the world. Fiber is not dependent on coding. And with internet, global crossing, when the white broadband increased, we led the world to increase the wavelength. This time, we have to go beyond the limit of Moore and go into the miniaturized world of the opticals to reduce the power consumption and have enough capacity. NTT is leading the world there. More specifically, it is the integration of photonics and electronics. This strategy is our technological development that we lead the world. And the component level chip, 400 gigahertz transmission equipment is already in the commercialized stage, and we can offer this by next year. Next is chips. And inside chips, we will incorporate optics to chips. The latency to convert to electricity, or the power consumption converting to electricity can be reduced. And Intel and NVIDIA are now coming on board. Processor, we are starting from the communication device. The computer processor or GPU server, these can be integrated in photonics and electronics for higher efficiency. So we are leading this research among the top players in the world. And the third component, this is the digital twin computing. This is a world of computer. This shows digital twin computing. The real world is created in the virtual world and conduct simulation to forecast the future or manage the health or enhance efficiency to digitalize society. So left side is the personal level, and the right side is the national level or town, city level, and globe. And the AI, data science effort, for example, in Smart City, we are doing this in Las Vegas, or Uber City with Toyota, and Smart Agri and Smart Chain with Mitsubishi Corporation. We are taking on many challenges. So we are honing these use cases, and this is a world of competition now. And other than that, we have other strengths too. And that's what I want to touch upon today. 2 points. One is for the digital platform. In the digital era, this is a must. Digital map is a must, and we are running at the forefront. And another is healthcare. Digital data, when we collect medical digital data, it is precise. You need a precise, dedicated sensor. So the optical and audio technology is something we have. So the device technology is what we are trying to promote. So the first digital twin 4D digital platform. For example, Zenrin or HIA, the overseas player, we formed the alliance, Capital Alliance. Google Map and others, there are many semantic information, where houses are, where are stores, and what transportation network exists where. But that alone is not enough in the digital era because the precision is low. Zenrin Map is by meter. It's deviating by meter. But if the person is walking, if using for walk, it's okay. But for autonomous driving or for the infrastructure development to dig underground, then it has to be, the error can only be 10 centimeters at most. Otherwise, it's not functional. And 4D, the vertical and horizontal and depth. the vertical and height. You have to have the map of the height and depth. Otherwise, Kubota and the heavy machinery manufacturers, you need to have digital instruction to show the height and the depth underground. That's 3D. In addition, timeline. With timeline, you can see the deterioration comparing with past data, the health or the geographic data or how environment is changing. You can see all that. So 4D data digital platform is now used advanced geographic space information database. And the right side is the business use case. So the navigation, high precision location navigation, and the smartification in industry, and the city design, we are trying to apply in these areas. Next is digital twin device. Various cases here, and some are commercialized. Wearable electrocardiogram with Toray. Our sensor is embedded in fiber to always take the electrocardiogram vital data. And other than that, the temperature inside the body, and with AI stethoscope, we can have, even if you're not an expert, you can take the pulse very accurately. Or implant, sensor is embedded in implant. And on digital twin, it can be reproduced. So by combining with your heart, we can use this technology. So this optical technology, we are leading the world. Terumo and other manufacturers will be making the products, but we have the core technology. So that is what we are thinking and pursuing, our core technology that we excel at. And one more new area. So wireless and fixed line and computer are integrated in this world. But we think this will be disaggregated. What I mean by that is the computer power, the left side, the red one, currently the network, Amazon and Microsoft, cloud, it's accumulated there and processed there, but in terms of collection, it is efficient, but it uses much power, and the collected data needs to be converted to electricity again to analyze. So the process speed, and it is not efficient. So network and computing need to be modularized. Some will be down premise, some will be in user, some will be core network, or Amazon Cloud. So it will be distributed. As you see at the top, the computing that can support the society will be required. It says OS. So we want to optimize this in totality. The operational scheme in Software Innovation Research Lab is now addressing this challenge. And this discussion is now just starting in the world. So we want to lead this endeavor. So my time is almost up. I talked about NTT's medium-term strategy promoting with technology, and I talked about many new developments, the use cases or the progress. On November 17th to 20th, we will have an R&D forum online. So President Sawada and Research Lab Center head Kawazoe-san will do a presentation like we did today in more detail, or show you some actual examples so that you can directly experience. So I hope you could enter and attend. That concludes my presentation. This including the large-scale deal, we want to support the society and help realize the digital society from technology. We want to lead the technology. So I ask you for your continuous expectation. Thank you very much.